Hi there! Today I have a MengF body for you, or better said, a full doll and even more MengF heads. But it's all about the old stuff they made, and old stuff means 2016 to 2019. So not really that old, but very different from the ones you've seen in my previous videos. So let's start and unpack this girl here. When it comes to MengF or MengF products, it is so hard to find out anything about the company, about the products, because they are strongly focusing the Chinese market. The Chinese market is pretty big nowadays, and I totally get that, but honestly, I'm not from China, and I really like their products, so I would love to get more information, but whatever I find, I will share it with you. So, as far as I know, this doll here and another one that looks more or less exactly the same, but you will see later on seller pictures of it, were released in 2019, and you can still find them on AliExpress at least, but without their original packaging, or at least I simply was not able to find a seller that do have these dolls still in package. But in general, you all know, the packaging is not really important to me. The doll was packed pretty well together with these air pockets, style wrapping tubes. I don't know. It is well protected, and therefore she arrived safe and sound. Everything that she wears is original, everything belongs to the full set. Shoes, skirt, t-shirt. Here you can see the seller picture of this doll, or in general the promotion picture I would say. And here also the picture of the other doll that exists. They look very similar. I don't know if it is a different face mode or if it's only a different screening, because the face hub or the screening of a doll can change a lot for the mold and its appearance. Yeah, she does come with rooted eyelashes, and I know a lot of you like that. I don't like it so much, but I wanted to try her out anyways, and yeah, it is okay. They are a little bit messed up, but we will fix that later. Her hair is saran, very pretty, good quality saran hair. She also has some markings on the back of her head, but I think we can talk about that later. Her clothes are very pretty, but they do stain, or at least the t-shirt left some staining on the upper body. But everything is nicely made. Also the shoes are pretty good. And as you can see, the movement of the doll body is really awesome. And the joints are also pretty sturdy. It is not the heaviest doll body, because when you do have a newer MengF body in your hand, it is a good, very good, and very solid fashion doll body. This here is way lighter. It is not super light. It is way heavier than, for example, a Barbie extra doll body. But I think it is a bit lighter than, for example, a standard made to move. But I forget at this time that she is not the same size like a standard made to move. She's more like a petite made to move, and when it comes to that, they are pretty much the same weight, I would say. But they feel pretty different because of their joint system, but even that, you will see it later in the video. This girl definitely needed a good wash. I don't know, it is hard to describe. She was not super dirty, but she did have such a maybe dusty feeling. It is pretty much hard to describe, but anyway, a good cleaning is all that she needed. Plus a little bit TLC for her lashes. I just took some hot water and some pliers and tried to give them a more straight look or less messy look. Overall it's fine. It looks better than before, so that's good. Here you can see her together with a standard made to move and of course a petite made to move. Size wise she's a bit in between. She is a bit higher in height than the petite MenF, but is far not as tall than the standard MenF, so as I said, right in between. In direct comparison with the petite MenF, you can see there are a lot of differences between these two bodies. I mean, the overall shape is not so different, but the joint system is very different. The arms do have more or less the same length. The one on the MengF is a little bit slimmer, I would say, but that's also because of the joint choices. The one on the MengF is way more slim or delicate or whatever you would like to call that, but the one on the Barbie body is simply way chunkier. The two torsos have overall the same length, but the MengF, for example, has a way bigger cutout on the booty. That's the reason why this body can do an excellent balancing act. The legs are also a little bit longer, and overall the upper leg is so much longer than the one of the petite MenF. You can pretty good see it on the knee, which is definitely at least a centimeter lower than the one of the petite MenF, and the lower leg parts, I would say, are pretty much the same length, so the main difference is definitely the upper part of the leg. The MenF body does also have very detailed feet. The sculpting for the toes is really nice and realistic, but therefore the foot is also much bigger than the one from the petite body, but even also from the standard MenF, the foot is still bigger. That's why I grabbed a tall body to compare the feet as well, and yeah, that's the best match, I would say, size-wise. So even though this body is a petite one, you will have to get shoes that are usually a good fit for the curvy or tall girls. Here I show you a little bit more of the movement, and at this angle you can also see that this body is a bit special when it comes to the hip joints. The hip joints are very, I would not say stiff, they are very sturdy. The movement of the hip is uncommon, and I was not really sure why that is so, but under bright light I was able to see why. It is such a different to move this joint than usually on every other fashion doll that I have. It seems that MengF swayed the joint in the hip. It is really hard to explain, but there is a thin film or a thin layer of rubber material that is embedded into the hip joint. I tried to pull it a little bit off, but it is what it is. It does not come off. It is also not a factory flaw or a melting point or some sort of. I think that's the way they wanted to have it. And it's a clever idea, to be honest, because that way she can really move way nicer than, for example, the MenF, and she will also not wear off so fast. But honestly, the only thing is, I don't know what will happen with this rubber material over time, maybe in a few years. So far, everything is okay. This doll at least is 6 years old, and there's nothing wrong with it, but yeah, we never know. What happens to the dolls in 10, 15 or 20 years? You have simply no idea what will keep its shape or what will disintegrate. You don't know that. But I have to say, I really like that idea. That's cool. I have never seen any other company that did that step of effort with any of their dolls, so that is definitely a good thing. Both dolls here are still from the side, but they do have a kneeling position, and you can clearly see that the MenF body does it way more realistic, and the MenF body can sit on its feet or kneel on its feet. The Barbie body cannot do that, because the lower leg is simply too long. It's not a big thing, but I wanted to show you that. And I also forgot to show you the arm articulation a bit better, so here you can see it. She already has lost her head, at least for the moment, but Anyway, I wanted to show you the rotation joint that this body does have. It more or less has exactly the same job as the shoulder joint of the Made to Move. You can twist and turn the arm itself. It definitely looks way less bulky, and the arm can touch the torso better. It's hard to describe, When you have a Made to Move body, pretty often the arms are always standing side by side or standing away from the torso. Some bodies do have this problem a bit more, some a little bit less. Very clever idea from me to use the tall body, because on that body it is not really visible. So here you also have a standard Made to Move, and as you can see, the arms simply go not down more than this. They cannot touch the torso from the side. It is really hard to explain that, but you can see it. And that's of course because of the shoulder joint, and I think the way the MengF body did this joint, or the idea or the job for this joint, it is a nicer and more elegant way to do a rotation joint like that, in my opinion, for the arm, because on the Made to Move it is a bit bulky and it is hard to hide it with clothes, and the joints of the MengF body, or at least the upper arm joint of the MengF body, is way more elegant and way less visible, but still does the same job. Also, the joint of the foot is way more movable on the MengF than on the Made to Move. This is just important because I will show you how the clothes look on the petite body, and I had a hard time getting the shoes over the petite feet. And speaking of that, here you have the petite Barbie, or the Barbie Looks Model 15, and the full set for the MengF doll. Overall, it's a snug fit, because the petite is a little bit chubbier than the MengF body, but overall I think it looks quite good. The shoes are a struggle because, yeah, the MengF feet are bigger, but you were able to see you can bring them more or less in a really straight position to the leg, and that's not possible with Made to Move, and therefore the shoes do not have a cut in the back, so you have to pull in the feet. It is doable. I would say it was already hard for this girl here, so it's not that easy if you would like to do it with a standard Made to Move, for example. I really do like the daisies on the skirt, and I also really like the shoes, and therefore I decided that she will keep this outfit, but minus the t-shirt, since I were able to see that it stains. And yeah, lately I have not so much time changing the clothes of my dolls regularly, even not the time to check if some of the new clothes could stain. But I know this t-shirt will stain, so she get a new top, but keeps the rest of the look. And this top you might have seen in one of the haul videos. I think it looks quite cute on the petite body, even on the standard Made to Move. It is a snug fit, and here it is still not too wide, and it looks good together with skirt and shoes, in my opinion. Now I would like to talk about hybrid options for this body, and therefore we have to talk about the skin color. On the left you can see the purple top Made to Move, and on the right it is the tennis player. The body is color-wise right in between, I would say. Overall, the color does have a bit more of a grayish undertone, at least a little bit more than the purple top, but it is a little bit lighter than the purple top and a bit less yellow, but still does not have the pinkish undertone from the tennis player. But overall, the colors are not that different. And that's the reason I removed the hat. You can see it here. The neck pack is pretty good. It is a sturdy neck pack, a tiny one, but it sits very, very strongly attached inside of the neck. No wobbling, very strong and sturdy material. So far so good. Beside the Barbie body you can see that the neck overall is shorter, also thinner, which in my opinion is a bit problematic when you would like to put on a Barbie head, but it is not that short. You can see it here. You just have to choose the right head, I would say, but that's always the case if you would like to build a hybrid. First you can see here a pretty big head. That is the tennis player head, which looks pretty good on action figure bodies. Anyway, but it looks not so nice on this petite body here, in my opinion. The head is simply too big, but that is always a personal preference. Someone like it when the head is a bit bigger, some others don't, so that is always up to you. And for me, it is simply the shorter neck that is a problem for me at that point. And I wanted to add that all the heads you can see here are heated up. As always, everything comes into a plastic bag and then into hot water. I like it that way the best, and later you will see why, but anyway, the heads are already very squishy, otherwise I could not switch them out that fast. Next is a Kim face mold, and she is not only a bigger head, she also is a pretty long head. Also, in my opinion, not a pretty good match for the body. But she is indeed a pretty good match skin-wise. This head would be a good match for the purple top made to move. But it is still a little bit lighter than purple top, so a perfect match for this body here. Here we do have a Defalusi head. Also the Defalusi heads are a little bit more oval shaped, but this one here does have a haircut that makes the head way rounder than it originally is. So I have to say it's not a bad match on this body. I think it looks quite cute. Next is a head I bought, I think about 3 years ago on AliExpress. It is a head from a Hard Rock Cafe Barbie, I think. I guess I remember that correctly. And I was curious if the color could match, but she's definitely way lighter than this body. Also, the look is not that nice. By the way, the hair is rooted that way. She usually or originally does have bangs, but still, even if you have the original doll, she's not rooted completely, only the outer rows are rooted. Other than that, she is bold. I wanted to reroot her, but I couldn't come to an agreement with myself what color or hair color to use, so she's still a floating head. The next girl is a Kira face mold, and this one here is a former color reveal doll. I think it was wave 10, and it was something around sunshine and rain, sunshine and sprinkles, something like that. The girls that come with a raincoat and rain boots and so on. I'm not the biggest fan of this doll here. I love the Kira face mold, but yeah, maybe she's simply a little bit too wonky, and I also hate her hair. It is poly plus tinseled, so. But overall still she's cute, and I think she looks quite nice on this body, even though her head is a bit lighter. Overall she does have the same size as the cow face in my opinion. So here are the two girls together. You get a better impression, I think, in case you would like to buy this body for a Barbie head, and what size would fit and what not so much. But I had to add this little extra. Not quite sure if you like to shop on AliExpress. In case you do so, you might have seen this head before. I bought it somewhat last year. I'm not a big fan, but honestly it was sold so often and I was curious, and at that time I didn't have a cow face and I was wondering why so many people buy this fakey Barbie head. Side by side you can clearly see that this knockoff head is a fake variant of the cow face. The rooting is not good, the hair's not good. I especially don't like the rooting line, it is very deep, but overall the head costs around €4 and it is simply a fun item to have in my opinion. Sadly the skin tone match of head and body is not so great, and of course the head is squishy. It is also not a firm or sturdy material than an original Barbie head, so maybe if it would be cold it would fit a bit better on this body, but overall I just wanted to show you the head because I found it in my stash, and maybe it is still on sale. I've seen it and still a lot of people buy it, so maybe you're also interested in here. You do have a comparison with a fake Carl face and a real one, so maybe Carla and Carl, don't know, but I kinda like it. But you do not have to put on a doll head from a different company. MengF do have different heads that will fit on this body, beside the one you've seen in the beginning of the video, the one that I don't know if it is a different mold or if it is the same as the one that already came together with the body, just with a different screening. There are also 2 other face molds that were made for this body, it seems. And now I would like to talk about the markings on heads and body. First, you do have the first head. It is marked with 2016 MengF and CH1. This is pretty easy to read. It's the only one that is easy to read. The other heads are not so simple. And it's funny to see that the head itself is already copyrighted in 2016. Hopefully you can see what is written on the booty, because that is already not so easy to see. It says 2018, then a lot of Chinese letters, and in the end there's also Meng and F. So this body is at least 2 years younger than the head. I was so interested to find out how older bodies might have looked or what this company makes in general, but I simply cannot find out something for the life of it. It is not possible to get information easily, so I can only rely on pictures that I found. And therefore the next head is also a MengF head, or made by the same company. The neck size looks pretty much the same. The material is different. The one with the purple hair is way more stiff. It is a hard head, a very hard head to be honest, and it is more opaque in color than the other two heads. Not too sure. It is on one side a bit more like a Barbie head because of the color scheme or the opaqueness, but on the other side it is a pretty hard head, and usually Barbie heads are not that hard. Here you can see the markings of this head. As you can see nothing because the markings are so faded. Even with magnifying glass and a lot of light, you can only see that this head is copyrighted in 2019 and a lot of Chinese letters. I bought this head back in January of this year, shortly before I decided to make YouTube videos, and I had no idea that this is a MengF head because the neck is so tiny, and I thought if it is a MengF head it needs to have a bigger neck opening, but no, it is a MengF head. Now they also have listed a full doll of this head, but the original doll does have black hair. Also this doll, you have seen it, does have a black scalp. It is painted black on the head itself, but now the head is available in different hair colors. I don't know if that is made by the MengF or MengFan company or if it is made by a Chinese retailer. I don't know. Overall, this hair here is very nice saran hair. It was very greasy when I got this doll head. The other two heads that you can see here that do have black hair, they also have saran, but it is not so greasy. But this one here was very greasy, but still a very nice high quality saran hair. The last head is a head I got recently. The neck hole is shaped pretty similar to the first head. The material is still also a bit different. It is way more translucent than the other two, but still not so opaque than the one in the middle. It is really hard to describe material when you cannot touch it, but overall it is interesting that all of these three heads do have a similar but not identical material, and that's simply strange to me because if you talk about a Barbie head, for example, sometimes some are a little bit more squishy, some are a little bit more dense, but overall a Barbie head is a Barbie head, and if you have one in your hand you can say, oh, that's a Barbie head. The material is pretty similar to all the other ones. Of course, we're not talking about heads that are made before the 80s, for example, because back then I think the material was a little bit different. My experience is not that high, but still I think material was different. But honestly, I have heads, or at least a few full dolls from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s and from now, and the material of the heads is not so different. But here we have three heads made in a short period of time and the material is so different, and that's strange to me because maybe that's because the company is still experiment with different material for their product. Maybe not, maybe I'm totally wrong, but it is just strange to me. For the markings, I think they are identical to the markings of the head you have seen before. This head is also copyrighted in 2019. You will see all the heads on this body, but I will have to heat them up, and therefore I would like to talk about hands first. This body is similar to the newer MengF bodies made to have its hands removed and replaced with other hands. These hands are the hands that you can buy for this body, but my hands are already pretty old. I think I bought them back in 2020 because I was hoping that I could use them on my Barbie bodies. I was not really happy about the heads on the Barbie bodies since these hands are really small. I was not even able to find the whole set. Usually this set comes with 5 pairs. Missing is the fist pair and the one with the peace hands. But overall I think you can get the idea. I have links for the heads, for the parts, for the body, everything down in the description. But as always, I'm not affiliated, and please do your own research for a better price or for a different shop if you don't like the shop that is linked here, because I do not earn anything with the links, with nothing. I'm not affiliated with sellers or with AliExpress, but I show you a lot of stuff here and I would like to give you also information where you can get it. So here's a picture, a seller picture of the complete hand set, but you can also use the first generation MengF hands for the newer bodies. You only have to mod them slightly, but here you have an already modded pair, and I did not mod the pair for this body here. I simply like to use MengF hands on the Mitzi bodies that I have, because I don't like the Mitzi hands, and I just found out that this modded hand would also fit on this body here. The hands that I use here are white skin, even though it does not look that way, but they are white skin. They are also a bit stained because they are not quite old, but they are, I think, from 2021, so these are one of my some of my oldest hands that I have. I have chosen this pair because I wanted to show you that these hands sometimes come in different batches. One of the hand is a bit more pink, the other one is a little bit more yellow, but honestly, even the camera cannot catch that, so I guess it's quite fine. I guess I'm simply a nerd when it comes to skin colors, but anyways, here you can see also white skin hands with, or better said, without any modification. The pack is simply a little bit longer, so you have to clip a short part of the tip of the pack, that's all. You can just use a little nail file to smooth it out or sandpaper, but overall that's a very fast and easy modification. When it comes to a more matching skin color, the pink-white color would be the best match. I was not sure if I would like to cut off the tip of the pink-white hands. Since I do not have a lot of these, I only have 3 pairs, but honestly I don't have a body at the moment. Yeah, some of you might have seen my video with the action figurine head, and yeah, I talked about it. Anyway, the pure white hands are simply a little bit too white, and therefore, if you like this body and the original hands are too small, the pink-white would be the perfect match color-wise. I simply like the style of the version 1 hand that you can buy for the more modern or newer bodies, and it is nice that it would fit this body as well, in my opinion. But in general, the original hands are not bad. They are pretty, they are nicely sculpted, they are just a little bit small in my opinion. And here you can see also a pair of Mitzi hands, just because I would like to show you the pack, how it looks. So it has the same length as the ones from this body here, or the modified ones. Please excuse the chipping nail paint, but the hands or the nails were painted around a year ago, and yeah, the paint is not in good condition, so I have to remove it, and it needs to be redone, and I hate to do that, to be honest, but yeah, anyway, I'm not a big fan of the Mitzi hands in general. I don't like these nails, I don't like how the hands do pose, but overall, at least they also have separated fingers, so that's quite fine. But in general, the MengF hands are my absolutely favorite hands of all fashion dolls I ever had in my hand. Heads have been heated up, so let's try them on the body. First is this new girl, or the newest head that I bought. I don't know, but I really do not like the combination of head and body. I think the body is simply too small. I did not add the hands, that was a mistake. I can show you here the seller pictures where you can see head, body and hands together. I'm not quite sure. I think the head is very adult and I'm not a big fan of the proportion. This is also the only girl that does not have a picture with clothes on. The other ones, you could buy them as a full set, but this girl here is only available as head or with the body together, but not as a full set. But you can get this head without hair and without makeup. That's a picture of the head without anything. And I have to say, it is a really interesting sculpting. Sculpt-wise, pretty different from a standard Barbie head, for example. But I was already sure that I would like to put this head on a standard made-to-move body. It is a tennis player. The match is quite okay, and this head does go on the regular Barbie neck pretty good. And next is the head that I bought last January. I'm not the biggest fan of this head, to be honest, and there are plenty of reasons for that. One reason is this is a very hard head, as I said. Even if you heat up this head really good, there's only a very short window where it is somewhat squishy. Here it is on its original body. And you can also see here a seller picture from the full set. As I said, she would come with black hair. She also had this beautiful Chinese gown, shoes, stockings, earrings. A very nice set if you like the match, but I have to say, I simply do not like the match of head and body. I also think that the head or the face looks a bit too old, too long. I think the body is simply a bit too short. I used to use this head on the Mitzi body and I wanted to show you that, but the head does not want to come off. As I said, it is only a very short window while it's squishy and that's closed now. So I decided to use a hairdryer. I thought it would be faster to soften the head again and I used it for a few minutes. The head turns warm, no question, but definitely not squishy enough, not soft enough to get it down from the neck. So I had to heat it up again with boiling water. And I would like to talk about a little bit about that. Some collectors like to use a hairdryer, some do it like me with a plastic bag and water, and in my opinion, the idea to do that with water or with plastic bag and water is the safest option if you would like to be sure not to damage the neck pack. First of all, when you use the hairdryer, you do not only heat up the head, you also heat up the neck. And honestly, when it is a material like this one here that is so dense and so hard, it took ages until you have the full head really squishy. And if the head is only warm from the outside, it does not have any influence on the most important part, the neck hole. That needs to be squishy, that needs to be hot, otherwise you do have simply too much pressure on your neck piece and then you will break the neck. And usually the bodies are more expensive than the heads, for example, but honestly, did you ever broke a head when you removed it from the body? Yeah, maybe, because the Barbie heads, or what I said, the Barbie necks do have these hooks and therefore, yeah, you could also break a head or rip it apart, but overall, usually when something goes wrong while changing a head, it is usually the neck. And when you heat up the head or the whole doll with hot water, not really necessary boiling water, just hot water, usually you will have a safer way to remove the head. And here you have the reason why people don't like to do it that way, or sometimes don't like it that way, because sometimes the plastic bag does have a hole or gets a hole during the process and you have wet hair. That's what happened here. She does have wet hair now. Oh, I'm so happy about that. It's okay, she's squishy enough and I can get her off this body again. And now she's really squishy. I can show you how it looks when you would like to put this head on a newer MenF body. It does not work at all. It does not work. The head is so hard, it simply pops off the neck again. Even if you use a neck pack, because this body type has a screw-on neck pack, the head will come up as much as possible and it looks really bad. So this head here is really only for bodies that do have a small neck or a slim neck. And for example, the Mitzi body does have a tinier or slimmer neck. It is a long one, but it is slim, so she can be placed on this body, for example, or on... There are quite a few other bodies, I'm pretty sure, that can be used, but it is not really a head that can be used on a Barbie head. You might get it on a Barbie head, but in that case, I'm pretty sure that this head is strong enough to widen or to stress out the neck pack itself, so there's nothing wrong with that, but in the end you cannot switch out heads again, because if you do so, you will have a wobble or bobble head with the next one you put on this body. Also, the skin color is not perfect. The Mitzi body is very white, it's the whitest one, but the next one would be too dark for these heads, so there's not really another option. So yeah, you can also see here the original owner of the petite body. She's also one of the more squishy heads, so you could use her on a Barbie body without any problem. But I decided to put her on the Mitzi body just because I was a little bit mad about the purple hair head, and I decided, oh, why not? So she has wet hair, she can dry up, and I will use the OG head for the Mitzi body, and the petite body will get this Kira head. I like the combination, even though the skin match is not perfect, but it also does not hurt your eye, and you will see later with the styling that everything looks quite good together, I think. But before we come to the styling, I also wanted to show you one last thing. This is again a Licca head. I think Licca Chan is not really a fan favorite of my subscribers, but still, I think these heads are very cute, and you can put them also on this MengF body. The color match is not perfect, but when you buy a new Licca Chan doll, especially the playline dolls, bodies and heads are also not a perfect color match, and therefore this head here is very stable. It is also very inexpensive, but we will talk about that, I think, at the end of the video. But overall, this is a nice body, maybe even for a custom Blythe. Just depends on how you would like to mod the neck, because the neck pack is still quite short. But overall, I think it is definitely doable also for a Blythe head. I think overall this body does have a lot of hybrid potential. And now it's time for styling. Let's start with Kira. She does have a very early Y2K look. I think a lot of the clothing you can get on AliExpress does have this appearance lately, but I really like it. It is originally shown on a standard Barbie, but on a standard Barbie everything is very short. On this girl here, I think looks quite nice. The shoes are a little bit too small. You can see the toes peeking over the shoe itself, but yeah, I wanted to have a shoe that matches the skirt, the bag, and the sunglasses, and therefore it is what it is. From the front it looks quite good, I think, but from the side you can see that the shoes are a bit too small. Next is the OG head on a Mitzi body. This is a very tall body, very slim, very tall. I don't know, she looks interesting on this body. The head is quite tiny, but I don't think it looks bad overall. She's wearing a shirt from the Barbie Extra, and also the skirt is from Barbie. The shoes and the bag are from Mini Brands Fashion. I don't know, I think in the end of the day she will get back her original body at some point, and I will get them or will modify some of the hands that I already have. I have to think about it. I simply don't like the short hands on the original 2018 body, I think. But that's the fun on hybrids like this. Swatching the heads is so easy, so you can decide what you want anytime in the future. The last girl is the one I like the most, at least in this video. The head does look a bit more, I don't know, older to me. Maybe just a bit more grown up. I don't like the rooted lashes, also not on this one here, but yeah, it is okay. And I definitely like the overall look. She's very black, to be honest. She does only have black clothes on, plus this black and white bag and these amazing Barbie shoes. These are so nice. They were included with the Skipper doll that you have seen in a previous video, and these shoes are good. They do have a great material. Nothing is bendy, so no collapsing heels or anything like that. The shoes are sturdy. The model itself is really beautiful. I wish the newer Barbie shoes would be like this one here, but we will get new Barbie basic dolls, so maybe we also get nice new shoe models, so who knows. So here you have all the three girls together. So let's talk a little bit about prices. And I would like to point out, I'm from Germany. The prices I tell you or I show you in the links are the ones that I paid for these dolls. As I always say, I'm not affiliated. I have absolute nothing from it in case you like to buy these dolls yourself. This is really only a review and for everyone who likes to hybrid their dolls or customize in general their dolls. And the full doll cost me 12 euros. I did not have to pay any shipping because it was a choice system item. And I have a link for this doll where it cost 30 euros. It is the same seller, so it is only €1 more, but in the link that I bought the doll of, she is sold out. But this shop, the dolls retail store, does have plenty of listings with the same doll, sometimes with different prices. Yeah, that's why I always say please do your own research. But anyway, I paid 12 euros for a full closed doll, and I have the link down the description for this doll for 13 euros. So if you would like to buy the body alone, at the moment it was, I think, €9.50 or something like that, so under 10 euros. And for this kind of body, I think that's a good price, especially if you don't have to pay shipping costs. And for me here in Germany, that means if I have something on the choice system that is €10 or more, I do not have to pay for shipping, so I would have to find something else to go with the body so that I have free shipping. But overall, the price is €9.50 for the moment, I think. And that's also the price for the hats when you would like to buy them separately. Fun fact, the hat of the full set is also available separately with the dolls retail store, but then it costs over 11 euros, which makes not so much sense because you have to pay 13 euro for the whole doll. So why would you like to buy the head itself? And yeah, that makes no sense. But the other two heads are available for around also a bit more than 9 euros. But the one that has rooted lashes is not available in the dolls retail store as far as I can see it. I bought mine in the World in Your Eyes store. There's also a link in the description. But the body, if you would like to buy the body itself, it is way more expensive. So I do not recommend doing that. But the head itself does have around the same price as the one with the purple hair, so I guess that's fine. A bit under $10, I think also around €9.50. And the full nude doll will cost 25 euros or a little bit over that, and that's much higher if you would buy the body and the head separately. And she's the only one that does not have a full set, as I said before, because if you would like to buy the one that has purple hair with its original black hair, you could do that and you would pay around 22 euros for the full set. There's even one that comes with a cloak or something like that. Even there's a choice to get this one instead. I just don't know. You have definitely options you can choose from. And now comes a question from me to you. When you use these links, do you have the same prices? Or what prices do you see and where do you come from? For example, you can say, I come from Sweden and I would have to pay 20 euros for the body instead of only €9.50 or something like that. Because I'm really interested if everyone has a comparable price. I understand when some shops charge shipping to different locations because, as I said before, AliExpress is a bit complicated to understand. Not every seller sends to every country, and therefore that's, for example, this. So I cannot see every listing that maybe someone from the US can see, but also there might be some listings that are not visible for other countries, and that's very interesting to me. I would love to know that. And of course also the fact if the prices vary a lot. So in case you would or you do use the link anyway or use it just to look what I have paid for the items, please let me know what is the price for you. And also, as I always say, if you're interested in these items, use the link to see what I have paid or what or where I have bought the items and how they look on the website and then do your research, look for the best price, look for the best shop, and then do your purchase. And I really hope that everything works out well, because at the end of the day, it's only fun when you end up with the item that you originally bought and when it is in good condition, or at least in the condition that you had expected anyway. So guys, I guess this is the end for today, and I'm very sorry that this is the only video for this week. I have 1 week to go and then I will have 2 weeks off, and I'm looking forward to that so much, to be honest. I'm simply in need of a little bit more free time, and I really enjoy the fact that I can work more for the channel again, and therefore you can be sure that there will be more videos in the future, and not only one per week. But at the moment, work is more important than YouTube, because that's how I can afford all the stuff you can see here. So otherwise I don't have any content, and therefore it's important to do my work. But other than that, I'm pretty happy that I will have more free time, and usually I don't need a lot of relaxing time, and therefore I can work on this channel, and I'm very excited about that. So I hope you had a bit fun today, and I have to thank you for all your time you invest into this channel, for watching the videos, for commenting, for liking. Thank you so much. I hope to see you again next week, and until then, I hope you have a good time. Bye!